Oh my god. Oof. Okay. Hey, everybody. This is MTG Lexicon, and we are finally live. Yes, we are. We are live. We are absolutely live, and there's audio. There's audio. Yes, there is audio. Okay. Holy shit. Can 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 can
Can't hear you anymore.
No, I can hear you. I'm just testing the audio on the stream.
Are you sure this is MTG Lexicon?
Yes. Okay. All right. You guys are a little quiet, but that is okay. Here.
This is an MTG Lexicon.
Here. Let me
I mean, it
turn.
is.
Let me turn
Not
you
like
guys
you know
up.
it. Mhm.
Here. Let me turn me down and turn you guys. Can you guys talk real quick?
Ah!
All
That's a
right.
yell. That's a
Yeah.
groan. That's a bovine.
All right. I
Something.
think I got it. All right. Let's see. I believe we are.
I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky.
I
believe in the heart of-
believe I can fly. I
In the heart of the
believe I can
cards.
touch the sky.
Yeah, Mum.
Speaking of Shaq,
Jack.
which we were talking about Shaq soda earlier. Okay, we are live. All right.
Yeah.
Again, not MTG Lexicon.
You didn't say it this time.
All right. Hey, what's up? What's up, goons and goblins, and all you spooky skeletons? It's October, and
Hey.
we watched a not so scary movie. This time around.
I didn't know it. I saw in some ways they call it a horror in a way, but I guess it's more like
It's not a horror movie.
I know, but it's like reality horror because they're like this is a concept that people would be like that's freaking terrifying.
It's a concept that could never happen, probably, because the United Nations would definitely intervene in that situation.
Exactly.
It was okay. So, before we get started onto that, let us introduce ourselves, starting with the person below me, Brady Bunch style. Uh, who is your daddy and what does he do?
I'm Detective John Kimball. I'm a cop, you idiot. I'm Sam from Commander Crunch, and we, Chesh and myself, talk about Commander and the people around it and a lot of other junk. They kind of semi-regular basis on the podcast sphere, so catch us there. I was just on the Uncommon Commander podcast with Cole. That was a lot of fun. We actually did a real actual Magic podcast where we talked about a deck, which Chesh and I never do that, so that was kind of refreshing. But no, we have fun, and that's the whole point because there's more to life than Magic, and a lot of other fun things to talk about, i.e., movies like Battle Royale. So yeah, Chesh. What are you up to?
Hi, I'm Chesh, and quite frankly, if you think that our podcast is too long or we don't speak enough Magic, you can jump in a river and have a nice bath.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
go
sure
fuck
I made
yourself.
that up.
You guys
No
got the
one
best
thinks that.
fucking MTG podcast in the game. It's true.
I was thinking about saying, I was thinking about saying, and if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself. And then I was like, maybe today I'll try and be a little bit less confrontational because
no, I'll say
I
it
think
for
we
you.
all know.
And more
Yeah.
promotional.
Because I think we all know I can be fairly confrontational about some things. And that was something that I saw, and I should have saved the tweet rather than responding and watching somebody delete it. Because somebody did make that complaint this week. And I was like, you can fuck yourself.
You know,
But I
and
didn't see it.
if anybody knows anything about Chesh, it's that he's the most non-confrontational person that I've ever met. Yeah, I remember I was talking to somebody and they were saying like Chesh was being a little inflammatory on the podcast, and that's not like him at all. And I said, Chesh never.
You're like,
Always.
I've
Thinking
never
about the
known
things-
him.
things that matter too, like just having a shit on Tovola, like it's what seems to be a very good werewolf commander. It's like I will never play Tovola. It's like that's fine. That's fine.
No, but I honestly, it's warranted sometimes, and it's entertaining, and it's why we love you. So that's one of the reasons why we love you.
I like shitting on things.
Yeah, me too.
I'd hate to be the person who has to clean my shit off things because I'm a big boy and my shits are real big.
Oh,
I got years
You're right.
years more experience than I do shitting on things. So I hope
Oh fuck yeah!
I hope
How did
to
we-
approach your level of
Seven-
of
seven-
shittiness.
shitty.
Seventh Dan in shittiness, like far out.
Exactly.
Oh my
I
God.
got 3 beverages in front of me, and it's amazing. I'm drinking liquid death, which is just water right now, but and a
Wonderful.
cider,
Yeah, I was gonna say
and a
all
little
I'm drinking is water.
tiny can of it's bourbon cream in a can.
Oh,
Ooh.
Tiny, it's delicious. Mhm.
I'm sorry, you said bourbon cream?
Correct.
mm.
It is.
Explain this to me because this sounds right up my alley.
Oh, it is bourbon whiskey with real dairy cream, 17% alcohol, and a little can. And
Baby.
oh yes, it's everything you think
Most
it is.
certainly is a little
Because I love my creaminess. I
Oh,
really do.
The aftertaste is just
But I also like my whiskey and my rum, so you know.
oh, it's all of those things. You got the bourbon bite, but the nice aftertaste of the of the cream.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
I was this was a discussion that I actually had with somebody this week when they were asking me what I was drinking, because I saw a picture somewhere this week of me just like drinking a big tall drink in the Yoda cup, or I think actually it was in the Captain America cup, and they were like, yeah, well they were like, what were you drinking? And I was like, oh, Jack Daniels, and they were like, wait a second. You like Jack Daniels? I'm like, yeah, I don't know why. Like, I can't put my finger on it, but it's just that taste, like the bite that it has. It just like any chance I get to have a nice, JD and Coke, I'll absolutely just do it.
I think it's the
Pers-
quality that tastes like dead ants, like ant pheromones. Maybe
No,
that's Jim
see,
Beam.
I
Maybe
hate
that's
I
Jim
hate the
Beam I'm
taste of
thinking
dead
of.
ants.
No,
I
I'm
hate the
joking.
taste of
But
dead
it's-
ants. I can't do it. So it's definitely not that.
You know,
I've had a gin that's got ant pheromones in it, which is pretty wild. That was
Ugh,
very
yeah, no,
very Australian
gross.
thing to do. Yeah. Anyway, I
You know,
joke because that's the quality I used to feel like I got out of Jim Beam or Jack Daniels. I'm like, ooh.
you know what's interesting right now? I'm looking at this stream, and you are lagging, Chesh, for some reason. Sam, you're surprisingly on the up and up. You're smooth as butter, and Chesh is like just the camera. The audio should be fine.
I stole all his Australian bandwidth. Yeah, take that.
Yeah, I guess so. You
Well,
guys are.
It's not a bandwidth issue. It's
I know,
it's
I know.
literally a display issue with my system right now.
Ah, okay. A display issue with your system. You wouldn't happen to be running a AAA online game, would you?
No.
I can neither confirm nor deny that all I can hear is no.
Maybe. Yeah, exactly.
I think that might be contributing to your
A little bit.
lagging issues there. By the way, in chat, how's our audio? By the way, if you're here, I see there's a couple people here, so chime up, tell us how our audio is. I could turn it up or down. I hope. And
Or
then-
turned on.
I could turn on, baby.
Exactly.
All right, yeah. So, just to conclude all this, yeah, I'm Jeff from MTGLexicon, and we're hosting this every other Friday night. We call it LexaCrunch. I love that name. It is a splicing between Lexicon and Commander Crunch.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a beautiful unholy union.
We are getting crunchy with its na 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 na.
Getting crunchy with it, yes. Yeah,
Absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely. So, if we want to start out, I believe Brandon likes to talk about Magic news. I have
Hmm.
nothing to say about Magic
Oh.
news, but if you guys want to chime in with any notable stuff, then go right ahead. This is
I
your
think
time
there's
to
only
shine.
one thing, and Chesh may confirm this, that I know that it's happened since we've last spoken, the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty slow Magic news kind of weeks, except for one thing, I believe.
I was going to say, other than Secret Lair Homo,
It's the one I'm
I don't
talking
think
about,
there
exactly.
has been anything that's happened really.
Yeah, so there you go.
Wait,
That's
secret
exactly
layer or what?
well.
Do we have a gay secret layer? Is that what's going on? Because I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's just say there was a faux pas in the what do you call it? I guess the kind of quality
Look,
control and just like editing the art,
the
maybe.
art,
I don't know.
the art
I know
of
what
the
you're
card.
talking about now. Yeah.
Yeah, Homecoming.
The
Stranger Things.
the homecoming. Yeah, the secret layer with the that one show that I dropped after the first season.
Stranger Things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Which
Stranger
was
Things.
a good
Yes,
first. As a good first season.
great
That
first
was a
season.
perfect
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just end it there, but that's fine. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. Cool show anyway. But yeah.
It's a fine show.
It's a secret layer. I knew was coming. I'm personally fine with whatever they throw at our game. I don't care. But like this one, actually, I find I think the cards can be kind of cool. And looking at them, there are some funky ones. But yeah, of course, as we say, I'll go for it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I have a bad habit of doing that. I apologize.
So I get excited.
Yeah, it's a show that I was about to say. It's a show that I wished would have concluded, like ended solidly, and without setting up for a second season, and it would have been amazing if it had done that. And just like the movie
totally.
we watched, it ended pretty conclusively, but alas,
and that's all you
we
need.
have a better Royale too.
Yeah, it's what humans do. If there's something good, you try and emulate it and do it again, and often too, sometimes it just doesn't work exactly.
What's up,
like
I mean, look, that's what I do with sex.
Yeah, exactly.
It was good the first time. I'm gonna absolutely try it a second time, and it's probably not gonna be as good from my end.
Returns. It's like Tyreek Evans' rookie season going down from there, but that's a very
Carson Edwards.
Hey, Eclipse, how's our audio? I just want to know because no one.
That's Cole, I believe, and that's Joel. Cole and Joel. Exactly.
Oh, what's up, Enthrall Moon? Hey, how's it going, man?
Joel?
Enthrall Moon, Goat, by the way, Goat Enthrall Moon.
Goat. Wait, did Enthrallment? Did Joel earn the title of 7th Gen?
Enthrall Moon has achieved Hokage, Ultimate Instinct, fucking
Enlightenment.
He's pretty much a pure ball of energy at this point. Yeah, and
what's amazing about that? Very quickly, this actually ties into this weird deep
Joel. Okay, I'll call you Joel.
That I read about Battle Royale about it. The concept that it kind of aligns with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So the peak of that is Joel, which is transcendence. So you did it. Good job.
What wasn't sure, Joel, because some people get really put out if you name them. Totally. Yeah, so I'm extra careful with that because I had a bad experience with that in the past, and ever since then I was like, oh shit, I fucked up, I'm so sorry, and now I'm extra conscious of it. So anyway, you as you were saying, Sam,
sorry, cutting you off. Where do we go? We're going down tangents, weird, whatever. Anyway, so I guess with Secret Lair is the thing. Is the what do you call it? So Secret Lair, Stranger Things was announced. Like you can get them if you order them, I think, and whatever. I haven't actually read all the cards of what they do. Some of them seem cool.
I've only read one.
Apparently 11 seems like it does good things. Free spells are always nice. The Mind Flayer, the shadow, looks like a creature, which is nice. And I think the artistic style of them is
Yeah.
better than they did in Walking Dead, and I feel like they picked up on feedback. They're like, don't make them photorealistic because it looks strange on a Magic card. So,
It does.
this one being more illustrative, dig it. I think that works. However, yes, Max the Daredevil, by the way, coolest, absolute coolest on a skateboard on a Magic card. You know what? I wasn't that down with like a baseball bat like from Walking Dead as in my commander deck, but maybe I can get amongst having a skateboard. So I don't know.
Why not?
Maybe I'm a hypocrite. Why not? Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but one of them, Will the Wise, Will, of course, the kid in the show that gets kind of
One of the main ones.
in the shadow realm. In Will's art, there is a piece of, what do you call it, bunting? Kind of bunting, or like what do you call them?
We just banner or like a flag banner.
Banners, yeah.
Yeah,
flag banner. Oh, there's
Flag banner.
another word. I can't
There
think
is a
of
word
it,
for
but
it. Streamer?
yeah.
No. Streamer?
Anyway, there's the kind of banner, and each of them have a letter on it, and it says homecoming. But Will's head takes up the place with the middle few letters. So if you look at it, all the only letters you see in the crop of the artwork is HOMO.
Yes.
Strange choice. Strange.
Well,
choice.
the thing is, I don't think that was done. I mean,
I don't think it was intentional.
I don't think it was intentional. I think it was done.
Has to be.
I think, well, because simply, this is one tidbit that I know is that I believe the artist is herself a lesbian or at least is very LGBT positive, and has depicted lesbianic relationships and homosexual relationships in a very positive light in their artwork in the past. And I think it was sort of drafted and then painted, and then at the final moment kind of like, oops, but now I have to turn it in, and things, shit happens, you know.
Shit does happen.
Exactly. And I don't think it was intentional. I don't think it was meant to hurt anybody, you know, like at the same time, you know, like, oh, intent doesn't matter, but at the same time, like, it's like the way I see some people critiquing this is, in their defense, like, uncharitable, but to the level where it's like extremely uncharitable. You know what I mean? Like, this was intentional. This was a jab, and it's like, let's really look at this. You know, there's a lot that goes into making magic art, making art in general, and getting approved for whatever. And it's just like, yeah, let's take a step back and really appreciate the process, and really appreciate not just the creative process, but the approval. You know, there's so many things to look at, and the people just see that, and then they think, you know, they feel personally attacked, and at some point, understandably, right? But at another, and taking it from someone who is at least a little bit familiar with the industry, and if you're this invested in Magic, and this, you should be at least a little bit familiar with the process and a little bit familiar with how, you know what I mean. It's like, if you're this invested in it, then you should know something, and the knowledge brings you that perspective where you can take a step back and look at the broader picture, right? And okay, let's see who's the artist, right? Let's see what happened here, instead of just immediately knee-jerk reaction into threats, you know, like,
because it looks like it was just the thing that was given zero kind of guess hierarchy in what we should or what's worried about in the art. It's just an incidental thing. It's like, well, I just put the thing, it says homecoming, and it's like, I didn't read it what it looks like when you take out the things.
Exactly.
Like, seen brands do this in like it's like almost what happens when you cut out a few letters. You see this in vandalism all the time. Like what letter can you take out for it to do something?
To make
It's
it
like,
offensive, yeah.
exactly. There's
Yeah.
one. There's a bank here in Melbourne. I know they had one. Their whole campaign was like all their staff members holding up the letters community, and they're all holding them up at different
I
ways.
see where this is going.
You can drive. There's one of them in particular. I drove past the photo in the advertisement, and I'm like, the way people are holding up and down. I just skim the top line, and all I see is CUNT, and it's hilarious. And it's like, wow.
I saw where this is going, but that's very. I mean, it's funny. That's just funny. But you know, and I actually to get a bit. I don't want to say meta. No, this isn't meta. No, what am I talking about? To get a bit tangential here, I want to relate this to, and pardon me and correct me if I'm going completely off the rails here, but the Chappelle special that is getting yeah. So
I don't
let
know
me
anything
let
about this.
me
I heard it addressed though, but yeah, go.
let me explain why I say this.
Mm.
When I'm connecting this to the process and to have a broader perspective. So if you're a fan of comedy and you're a fan of this kind of stuff, you will see you'll see people doing things for reasons, right? And Chappelle is at the twilight of his career. He's been doing stand up and specials and comedy for years and years and years and years and years. He's a very seasoned comic. When he got up on stage and said what he said, he knew exactly what was going to happen. And people are responding to it. And when I say people, I'm mostly talking about the people that agree with his sentiment that he portrayed. And by sentiment, I'm particularly talking about his anti-trans, his TERF sentiment. People that agree with his TERF sentiment are acting like he is just randomly being targeted, or he's being what's the word, like he's being I don't want to use the word canceled because that word doesn't mean anything anymore, and you can't cancel Dave fucking Chappelle. But
to be fair, that's the terminology he was using as well.
Yes, but it's not true.
Yeah, exactly.
And let me go even further down this rabbit hole into a personal. You're becoming the Joker, baby, Sam. And
no,
yeah. Wipe away that internet fuzz.
My shame.
For a second.
Yeah, there you go. Come on.
I went to, when I was in Vegas, I went to a show at the Laugh Factory. Laugh Factory, very well-known stand-up comedy club. And the comedian I was seeing, keep wiping away the internet fuzz, Sam. You almost got it.
I'm trying. It's not doing anything. It's like, what the hell?
Anyway, I'm just gonna.
Must be a storm.
I'm just gonna talk. I'll just pretend you're. There you go. Got it. Yay. You were missing no from Pokemon.
My favorite.
When I was at this comedy club, the comedian, I can't remember their name. They were on a few famous shows a couple times. I'm sure they have a very prolific career, whatever. But they were doing a comedy show. I think it was a Wednesday night at the Laugh Factory during COVID. So, anyway, I was there. It was like $36, and I got like right in front of the stage. My knee was like touching the stage, and this guy was up there, and he made a bunch of jokes that played to the audience, which he got the vibe from the previous comics. The audience was mostly 40 plus. So he made a bunch of like, my daughter is dating, I don't like my daughter's boyfriend, I'm old. There's like, and some of it was like chuckle worthy, and some stuff is like, okay, you're playing to your audience. I get it. It's not for me, but these guys think it's funny. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But then towards the end of his set, just to get that little, just to get that like punch up, or really punch down, he started making anti-trans jokes, and then he started harping on like, well, I'm gonna get canceled, and I'm right there in front of the stage, and I'm like fighting every fiber of my being not to heckle this guy, right? And but he did say one thing that I did reply to, which he's like, well, look how Louis C.K.'s doing now, that he made cancel jokes, and I'm like, he's doing just fine. He's doing better than you. Like I wanted so much to say, like, you're not even big enough to get canceled. Like, no one even cares what the fuck you say. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to go at it, but I was just like, bro, you're not at the Louis C.K. You comparing your jokes to like Louis C.K.'s platform. You're a small time, buddy. You are literally not big enough to be canceled. How does that feel? And that would have probably taken him down a few notches in the ego, and he probably would have lashed out at me. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Dave Chappelle is someone who is he's huge. Everybody knows Dave Chappelle. So he went up on stage. He knew full well the response he was going to get, right? If you're someone at that level, you are conscious, or you have people around you who are very conscious of what's going on socially, and you're standing up there saying, I'm pro turf, or I'm team turf, and blah blah blah, and it's like, how do you not expect exactly what's going to happen? And the people that agree with the sentiment are like, see, they're getting mad at him. See, this is cancel culture. It's like, no, he knew what was gonna happen. How are you this foolish? How are you this foolish to believe that he just got up there one day and just decided to say that thing? Plus, that special, you think they record that just once and then boom, that's a special? No, he said it dozens of times on stage before, and it's from different venues. They're wearing the same outfit to make it cohesive visually, right? It's just nonsense. These people live in an imaginary world that they construct, where they see something and they think it's happening right now, and it's like their brains have been poisoned by television. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm now, but bringing that all the way back to the Magic card is we have in juxtaposition a person who said something that was intentionally said to get a response, and someone who made a piece of art who most likely did not have ill intent, that's getting backlash, the same kind of backlash that the person who said something that was intentionally trying to get a response and knows was going to get backlash. And it's like, you see the same people, or I don't know, the same people, you see the same response negatively towards these two different people. It's like, take a step back, look at the process, look at the intent, look at the people. You need to understand these things before you properly levy that criticism against something, especially something so intense. And whatever you do, even for both of these people, I don't care what side you're on, threats of violence are never acceptable. I don't care. Unless there's violence involved towards, what they're criticizing. Say, if someone steps up and says, I don't like Jeff, I'm going to kill him, then I think if you say, like, well, I'm going to kill you, I don't think that's, like, an inappropriate response, because, like, hey, they're threatening to kill me. but
Guess you're on that level.
also, of course, you need to take into account the disproportional balance of power, right? And the disproportional privilege that exists within those comments, right? So there is that as well. There's a lot to dissect here. I'm sorry to go on this huge monologue about this fucking card, but it's just things I've been thinking about since I've just looked at this
Joel says
discourse.
poison by television. Now he's over.
I know, right?
Beautiful.
Because he always be on that phone. But yeah, that's just me being, I don't know, petty, pedantic, I guess.
Oh, warranted. But good one there, because I didn't know much of what happened with the Dave Chappelle thing or anything. And
I know you're not here for the politics.
I'm kind of glad I glossed over it all too. But like,
all right, I gotta go on another rant. Hold on.
Secret lair. I might actually get this one. I kind of like all the commanders.
I made the joke about how I feel like Will should have been partner instead of friendship, because I thought friendship was kind of stupid. Somebody then was like, no, I understand, because, you know, partner is a completely different meaning on the card. And I'm like, well, number one, I was being funny, but number two, no, you see, you're wrong, because these cards were supposed to be completely and absolutely, like, basically a playable addition to the game, right? But now you're, like, putting the tag friendship on there instead of partner. And I get why you're putting friendship on there, but at the same time, Wizards? Really?
Okay, I gotta go.
I mean, design-wise, there's way too much more you got to factor in, I guess, if they partner with everything. Like why Commander Legends was so, they're like, anything with dual color and partner is a whole nother, like, that's mythic level because of what it allows, of course. They're like, these can be partnered with only these kind of cards as well. So
maybe Wizards should have thought about that.
All right.
I don't know. It's fine. I think it's actually a pretty clean design. Anyway, go for it, Jeff.
I'm sorry. I'm just champing at the bit of this
hey,
one. All right.
At the bit.
All right. No, seriously. Okay. So is this political? First of all, the reason I think you're making this comment is because I cracked down on the politics in the Discord server. I said no political discussions, because Discord servers, especially written forums, I've seen time and time again just devolve into discourse inferno. It's just, there's no escaping. It destroys, it just eats away at the whole fucking server. And we're talking about, and in that context, they were actually talking about politicians and politics. And in this context, the argument here is like there's two genders, male and political, right? It's like we're talking about art. Is it politics we're talking about? No, we're talking about social perspectives, right? And we as Americans, at least I'm speaking for myself, we tend to politicize everything. And it's like, if there's a black character in a video game, it's political. If there's a woman in a video game, it's political. And it's like, why can't there just be? You know, why does it's like, oh, the criticism comes from like, this is the way it used to be. It used to be just straight cis white guys, and that's it. And then if you change that up and include anybody else and not even pandering, it's just the character, then all of a sudden it becomes political. It's not even fucking political if you just want to tell a fucking story with a different character. That's what we're talking about here. It's a social perspective. It's not having to do with any policy. In the Discord, they were bringing up politicians and policy. That I want to kill on sight, regardless of the bias, right? I don't care if you're left wing or you're right wing. I do not want that to pervade our Discord. I'm sorry, but I do not want this to become an echo chamber where people just become drawn. When I say people, I mean just extremely online, radical people that will just destroy everything that you post, and dissect it. Because what's one thing that the left wing is, as much as I'm on the left wing, we're great at, is just destroying our own communities with needless discourse. And the right wing will just create shit. They just shit on everything. They just fucking get in there and they just drop turds everywhere that you have to fucking clean up. And I'm not trying to deal with any of that bullshit. I'm sorry. Our Discord is apolitical, not because I feel like it's an obligation to stay apolitical because, oh, I'm a centrist. No, it's because I don't want our fucking server to get destroyed. Period. That's it. And that's where I'm going to end that conversation. I'm done with that. All right.
And Chappelle's a piece of shit.
And Chappelle's a piece of shit. Sure, let's go with that. He's got enough money to survive. I'm sure Chappelle will be just fine. You know what I mean? I'm sure. I can't wait to see how canceled and silenced he is with the thousands of fucking interviews and specials and talk shows he goes on talking about how ill-received his message is while he wipes his tears with his Benjamin Franklin's. Like, he's gonna be fucking fine. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a comment here, and I just want to remind everyone.
Oh, God, sorry, I got a little heated there.
Do not forget that Chappelle is the comedian who came out and said that he stopped doing the Chappelle Show because the white racists down the front were laughing too much. So the one thing that you have to remember about Dave Chappelle is that Dave Chappelle is in and out of people's consciousnesses. Mm-hmm. And like any comedian, and not like every comedian, but like any, I guess you could say, figure, will absolutely do anything to stay relevant in the news cycle when something new is coming out and something happens. Netflix special comes out, decides to put anti-trans stuff in that Netflix special. And people are like, did you watch it the whole way through? It's like, yeah, watch the last 15 minutes and I'll still tell you to go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. This isn't the first time that Dave Chappelle has said something that has been against the views of the people so that he can remain relevant. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's like, people used to compare this kind of stuff to shock rock, right? Mm-hmm. Because shock rock was like, oh, it's all demonic and it's just drawing your attention. People, I want to tell you, completely different thing, right? Well, one thing you have to remember is that a lot of the people like Dave Chappelle, like Jeremy Hamburger, you know who I mean, these people turn to right-wing ideology because it keeps them relevant and it keeps those people fighting for them. Mm-hmm. This has absolutely nothing to do with, I reckon that Chappelle doesn't even think, oh, there's only two genders. No, Chappelle's going, but I should be able to joke about whatever I want. Yeah. It's comedy. And it's like, no, it's not. And that's why Jerry Seinfeld is still, as much as I don't like his personal life, the fact that, you know, Jerry Seinfeld was married or dating a 20-year-old. But it's one of the reasons why, when you look at all of the things that Jerry's ever said, very few of them are him trying to latch on to right-wing ideology.
And let me add on to that. When those people that say, like, oh, well, you should be able to joke about anything, it's just comedy. You should be able to say whatever you want. And why are you getting offended? Those people get the most offended when you make even the slightest little tiny attack against like white heteronormative concepts or individuals, or just like the concept of whiteness, and they're just like, they just get all up in arms. Oh, we're the new oppressed people. You know, it's like wait, I thought you said it was just comedy. You know, like those are the first people to have like the most reactionary takes, and that is like the divine irony of it all. It's so funny to see that, but also kind of tragic. You know, and I know somebody who's very much one of those, like, I'm no filter, I just say whatever you want and they have to deal with it because I believe anybody should say whatever they want. If they get offended, that's their problem. Literally change shifts because somebody talked to them the wrong way. And I'm just like, wait a minute. I thought you were the if they're offended, it's their problem guy. And now you're changing shifts because you got offended. Come on, man. Like if you can deal that, if you can dish that shit out, you should be at least be able to take it. Come on. You know, it's like fuck off with that. You're a hypocrite. You know, and I say that, and I almost never call people hypocrites, so that is a very hypocritical behavior. When you're like outwardly, you know, like I'm just gonna be as edgy as possible, just say whatever the fuck is on my mind, and then someone's like, "Hey, why the fuck aren't you here on time?" Or like, "Where the fuck did you go? You're supposed to be on this line on your shift," and then you go, "He said a mean thing to me. I do the shit shifts." It's like. Really? Go fuck
Joel
yourself.
bang on.
Yeah.
Edgelord forced to stand too close.
And usually what they have to say to provoke people. I want to coin. I'm not going to coin this term, but like, I call them pizza cutters because they're all edge and no point. Good edgy humor has a point to it. And you can be edgy and funny without being fucking pointless and innocuous. You know, it's just you can't do that. Anyway, we've gone totally off the rail. Let's talk about fucking Battle Royale.
Oh, let's talk about a fucking great movie.
Yes. Who wants to start out with this one?
I feel
Sam
like
needs to tell us what the movie's about.
I can do the intro, and then you guys can chime in any bits I missed, because this is actually the second time I've ever watched it. I know you guys, Jeff, you were mentioning thoughts on your favorite movies. Quentin Tarantino once said this is praised. I had it here. In 2009, Quentin Tarantino praised Battle Royale as the best film he had seen in the past 2 decades, and deems it.
Yeah, but he's got a fetish around feet, so.
There's no feet in the movie, though. Really.
I mean, he's not wrong, but I know that's not what I'm saying.
I know.
I'm saying his level of taste is a bit, you know.
But yeah, it can be all kinds of things. Anyway,
primordial.
Primordial. Okay. So we watched our movie for the last 2 weeks was I got put on the spot the other night. I think even yesterday, because we hadn't decided what movie we were going to choose.
No. Let's back that up, Sam. You weren't put on the spot. You were told 2 weeks ago that it was your turn next.
Never got told. Anyway, still, I said about 5 movies, and I was like, which one could we watch? Hopefully something we can all enjoy, that kind of thing, because I've thrown out some shit ones that have kind of challenged some people, I think. So they're like, that wasn't fun. I was like, let's watch a crowd favorite. So one of them was, I think I did like Her, Darjeeling Limited, Princess Mononoke, Kubo of the Two Strings is amazing, Mandy, which we'll have to watch pretty soon, and I'd love to talk about that, and then Battle Royale, because I was like, you know what, Squid Game kind of got me thinking about it. Thought about it over the years when the term Battle Royale is literally just used now as a genre, and owes a lot to literally this movie kind of thing too. So I remember first watching this in high school, and it was the type of thing you had to torrent. You had to go. You feel like you're going to great lengths to watch this, profane movie that was banned in places, that kind of thing. The type of thing, as far as I know, it was a bit like Underbelly here, Chesh, that show, where you put restrictions on things. I think it was Korea, Germany, I believe even in some parts of Japan or something like that anyway. But as soon as you have any kind of censorship or like restriction on something, all that does is kind of drive up the kind of need for it too. And it's currently ranking, I believe, as one of the top 10 highest grossing Japanese films of all time, which is pretty amazing. So anyway, at the time, 2000, what was it? Seen as a very, very violent movie. About high school kids.
It was banned in a lot of places.
Yeah, exactly. So because it was younger, I guess, the audience there, of course. Do you think this still gets an R? Oh yeah, it's R15 plus. That's a Japanese rating. We have 18 plus, I guess. Do you think it still gets that kind of rating these days?
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of blood and stuff, but there's not. I guess there's like some stabbing and some shooting and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's more.
But there's no like drug use. There's no like. you know, uh, there's no like, you know, triggering trigger stuff.
I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I think it
I
was
can't remember the.
mostly. Go ahead.
I was going to say I can't remember the wording of it, but it's more. I think the biggest reason they said was that it's because of the the characters that are giving out the violence being school kids. That
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
it's
Yeah,
gratifying.
yeah. It was kids. It was kids doing violence in school essentially.
Exactly. So
And
glorifying that or
like
whatever.
around the time it was made in 2000, which was I think not too long after Columbine,
Exactly. That's the bit I see always brought up. Exactly.
and it was kind of like yeah, I get the hesitancy due to the time period, but then Hunger Games ripped off and westernized
Oh,
it,
I was about to go there.
and then they're like, "Oh, it's westernized now. It's fine." And
Yeah,
and then,
I would
and then
argue
like,
glorified it in a whole different way, in a way that I don't even think this glorifies it in that way at all. Like, and the Hunger Games almost romanticizes it, but yeah, exactly. So, there's that whole thing. There's that whole thing as well. That there's a point that people make. It's kind of like Clockwork Orange in the early '70s, like that kind of like the outrage there and in Britain.
Yeah. Well, let me reply to someone in chat. Okay, Joel. Yeah, you said edgelord forced to stand close to the edge. And I linked you a music video by Dorian Electra. And Dorian Electra is one of my favorite artists, contemporary artists at this point. They are just Lady Gaga plus plus. They're like I like what Lady Gaga did, but Dorian Electra does that in spades. And
I also liked the lack of clothing that Lady Gaga was wearing.
it's not just it's not just a lack of clothing. It's like it's like the commentary, and Dorian Electra has kind of taken what Lady Gaga did. And I'm sure they're influenced by Lady Gaga, among other pop figures, but they're their own thing in such a unique way, just like Lady Gaga was at the time. Like no one was really doing. Lady Gaga was kind of like Madonna plus, I guess you could say Madonna plus plus, but it, Dorian Electra is just fucking fantastic. And that's you basically said like one of the lyrics to the song Edgelord. It's like where they're kind of lambasting, and they're lambasting the Edgelord culture by appropriating the aesthetic and kind of forcing it to look at itself in the mirror and taking all of, like the genuinely subversive aspects of that aesthetic and making it cool and like and queer almost. In fact, yes, queer. And just kind of like, look, like we get it. It's some of the stuff is cool, like the aesthetics of it, and like it's cool to be edgy, but at the same time, like one of the lyrics is like, I'm an edgelord. You're pushing me to the edge. Like you're forcing me to be edgy. When it really, in the comment, and the commentary is like, yeah, it's always somebody else's fault, right? Like
Exactly.
it's your fault that you're offended, but it's really just me being a shithead, like
it's always a deflecting.
And
it's definitely a characteristic I've seen the most. It's
yeah,
like it's
so that's
someone else's fault. Yeah,
that's why I love Dorian Electra, because they kind of like reappropriate very typically like straight white male heteronormative culture and just kind of like put a queer twist on it, like non-binary twist on it. And it's fucking incredible. Like I'm sorry bro, I love you is one of the best songs I've heard in a very long time. And just the messaging and the it just kind of like the whole why do like guys like it's like, I'm sorry, bro, I love you, no homo. But it's like, I tell my friends I love them all the time now. It's like that we should normalize that. Why can't?
Really?
Because love can be
In the air.
a whole bunch of different things, and it's like, I fucking
Totally.
love my friends, and I tell my friends I love you, and it's like, why do we need to toxify that into like a sexual thing, right? And
Yeah, it's
instead of
only
just,
one facet of it.
exactly, one facet. And it's like, you can love your parents, you can love your children, you can love your wife, and you can love your friends. It's all different kinds of stuff. And it's weird that and we need people to comment on the fact that love is only in a sexual context, or love is only in I'm preaching to the choir right now. You guys are both on board.
I don't even know how he got here.
I'm sorry. I was responding to a chatter, and this is I'm a little tipsy, and I'm also on the upswing of like I was in like a super deep depression. Then I went to Vegas, and I just sort of just take out all I just take out all the fucking
depression talks.
Depression shit, and I loved my experience there so much. So now I'm just like I'm on like a really big upswing right now.
Your
so
upswing on the last month has been amazing.
I'm a little erratic right now, so I apologize.
No, we're good. We do a whole podcast like this, so it's not. Yeah. I see now why Nick S is like, can you just record these and put them on the podcast? I'm like, I think these are even looser than the podcast, but I don't know, maybe.
Exactly.
Fire up Twitch. But no, appreciate it. Go where you need to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, we didn't. I mean, I didn't start saying like.
Let's talk about Battle Royale. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't say love you to my friends. I think it was you and Brando that kind of started to influence it a little bit, and it made me realize that as we're brought up, we don't really have that kind of language to appreciate our friends so much. There's just nothing natural to like that you kind of learn to say to go, oh, I appreciate you, because you just don't do that, especially males are told almost like it's just not what you do. And so it's always been refreshing. Now I kind of make absolutely sure to do it. And it's like, because I know how much it means to me when you realize that like, maybe you're not told if you're appreciated for a long time, and that actually, that starts to normalize it. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. And hello GDE, and hello Brave Conscript. Nice to hear you, first time chatter. Thank you.
Howdy. So back to this movie, Battle Royale, which we watched, and I watched last night. Had a lot of fun, and so it is essentially, let's just pull up this synopsis because it does a good job of explaining what it's all about. People have heard of what like the movie Battle Royale is, but yeah, it's the heart of a lot of things, of course, conceptually. But basically what it's all about, what do they say? The near future, following a major recession, the Japanese government has passed the BR Act to curb the nation's juvenile delinquency. So there's a whole little preamble at the start of the movie about basically
major recession. It was in the subtitles that I had, it said 15% unemployment, which is insanity. That is absolute. But go on.
And so there's a little preamble of a teacher getting stabbed by a kind of rebellious student, and then basically that student, I think, not going back to school for a year. That the teacher resigns, and then there's something about established basically this whole class being quite tight knit, and then I think that kid comes back, the one that stabbed the teacher. There's a few things that like probably don't matter that much in the grand scheme of things there, but they're all relevant details kind of thing, and there are a few character building things that all link up basically. But it kind of comes down to it. They go on this school trip, and basically as part of the BR Act, they're actually all gassed on the bus, and they're taken to an island, and they're forced to duke it out. So only one remains. As part of the big kind of gesture, they do it an annual thing, I think they say, as almost a show to kind of go, this is directed at
those animals in line.
Yeah, keep the kids in line, because you'll be forced to like fight on the island if you're not careful, kind of thing, for your lives. So, Pretty much, they outline the rules of the games essentially, of the game, and they get it in a delightful kind of anime style kind of instructional video about what you can and can't do. You've all got collars on, and
That is my favorite part of the movie, by the way.
amazing.
And also, hello, hey, what's up, Corrupt Helix? But yeah, that's my favorite fucking part of the movie is when that video plays and fucking Takeshi just plays it. You know, like when you're like, hey, thank you for visiting. He's like, I think it's like that. I think it's gozaimasu. You know, like he's like playing along with the video, and like the way his delivery is like that was a perfectly casted role. But go on.
Totally. So that's a great point there. So this movie is kind of held together by, first of all, a whole class of school kids basically. There's a couple of extra ones for kind of relief and a bit like to throw the dynamics a little bit, being that they're two transfer students.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty anime looking dude with the bleach hair as well, like crazy guy, and then the other
Sting looking guy.
yeah, exactly. But you've got at the heart of it all, you've got and surrounded by the army and everything, you've got Takeshi, which is the what am I trying to figure out?
Principal.
Takeshi. Yeah, Takeshi's basically the principal.
The headmaster.
Yeah. Headmaster and the teacher that was actually that was kind of stabbed in that incident at the start of the movie.
Yeah, he was slighted. And in the manga, I haven't read the manga personally, but I watched it with a group of friends who were very familiar with the source material, the novel and the manga. And apparently in the manga, the teacher, Takeshi's character, was kind of like not a very sympathetic character. He was kind of a creepy sex pest pedo.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And just very much
manga. No,
I know, right?
I was gonna say there is a hint at a character that there's a bit like that, but it's actually I can't remember her name, but her stepdad, I believe. There's a little like a vignette about why she's a little bit of a she's pretty brutal because of the way she was brought up. I can't remember her name. I'll figure out in a second.
Oh, I know you're talking about the girl with the long hair,
Mariko, Momoko,
Mitsuko.
The girl with the long hair and the kind of like tweeny shirt.
She changes outfits a couple of times.
Yeah.
Oh no, she ends up in the t-shirt and the in the shorts or whatever. So yeah, she ends up a bit of a badass, or she is the whole time. But yeah, exactly.
She was kind of not very sympathetic character in my opinion.
She was kind of a bitch, to be honest.
Kind of a
fuck y'all, I'm gonna kill you because nobody's gonna save you. You have to save yourself.
Kind of a backstabbing murderer.
That's a little thing. That's a little like a big overarching theme I'll get into in a second, because I mean basically Takeshi Kitano is there as the main kind of draw card, I think, when the movie came out, as one of the most well-known kind of I guess personalities on screen, that kind of thing too, as the host of literally a game show as well. That's what kind of like pulls it together, because he's kind of a game show host in this as well.
A little bit, yeah.
He hosted Takeshi's Castle.
Yeah, well.
So,
I get it. Yes. Go on.
Exactly. Which I remember getting. We got Takeshi's Castle on like SBS when we were growing up, and going, "What is this? This is the most outrageous thing ever. It's awesome. Like so wild, so kind of just ridiculous. It's awesome."
I've never seen Takeshi's Castle.
When you watched it, this is like, that's who Takeshi is. Oh wow, yeah. So Takeshi Kitano, insane dude. The painting, which we've literally got on our screen here, which is in the movie. He actually painted it. He's an artist, the filmmaker. Dude does everything. But what was that? It was, what's MXC?
Yes. Thank you, Chesh, for the update on that. Chesh was just chimed in on chat about something we talked about before the stream. I believe I was familiar with a few of these points, which I was going to bring up. I never got the chance to. If you want to get into that, we can get into that at the end of the stream.
Roll that then.
Unless you want to riff on that right now, then
let's go. I don't think it has battle royale sensibility, to be honest.
Okay,
we can do it then if you feel like it. Exactly, but we'll get to this because I want to get you guys talking about this anyway.
Exactly.
Generally, so what then happens in the movie, of course, is battle ensues. So all the school kids are sent out with the rules there. They're all given a bag, basically with a random weapon. You can see where this is going. A lot of these rules kind of run parallel now to your PUBGs, your Fortnites, your even the way kind of Hunger Games worked as well. A lot of things have just more than derived from this concept and gone, and ran with it kind of thing, which I've found always found it like it's probably like, have they ever looked into kind of intellectual property stuff? I don't know. Maybe it's like the Dark Souls thing. Everyone just copies Dark Souls now as like a template. That's and
Yep.
they almost respect it. Fine, I guess. Yeah, so everyone kind of, in a show of strength, a couple of the students are kind of deleted it there and then because they were kind of, acting out, and they kind of freak out a little bit, and then they're all left along their merry way. And yeah, pretty much then the next kind of like hour or two of the movie kind of dictates them across the island with various things that actually do align to video games, i.e. the danger points, so people don't camp. So they're kind of, I can't remember what actually happens there, the danger zones. Are they just like, if they stay in that zone, they're kind of just deleted, like
then
their collar blows up?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you start to, there's some good relationships there. The thing you're saying before, the overarching thing, like
Oh
where
wow.
it's
I'm sorry.
interesting I'll go for it.
I'm ashamed I didn't know the MXC was
Oh.
Takeshi's Castle. I did not know that until just now.
Oh, is it a different title? Is it a different title? or something?
They're okay. So Spike TV, which was a very Chad Bro American television network.
Oh, American version is MXC. Yeah, I had no
Yes,
idea.
America. They dubbed it with
Oh,
comedy, like
So bad.
Yeah,
So good.
it's so
really?
bad and
Yeah,
it's so good, and they called it MXC,
It's like Iron Chef.
most extreme
I was about to say
elimination.
that, Church. Yeah, Iron Chesh.
And yeah, I didn't know that was
that makes sense now.
I didn't know that was Takeshi's Castle, and I'm surprised I know this much about Beat Takeshi, and I didn't know that, so I'm shamed and humbled.
It's fine. Like, it's fine. Anyway, so what happens is, what you find there is when, like we say, friendships are kind of already existing on the island, of course, and people are like, what do you do in this situation? And some people go straight to, a couple of them commit suicide straight up. A few of them, I think a few of them actually become like, a primal sense, like, no, I'm going to fight for myself and don't think twice. And they basically say, I'll kill
There's a lot of
else,
different reactions to the situation.
So, yeah, exactly. Some of them go, let's stick together in a small group. That's the best we can do. And we'll try and break the system and get out of here all together alive, that kind of thing. It's very interesting how it kind of then shakes, because everyone's like, do I view these people as my friend, or do I view them as, basically combatants kind of thing? So
every reaction was pretty well done in the context of this movie, but there's one that every time I see, I just like kind of cringe and laugh at, and
Kid with the hatchet.
No, actually that one was I'm okay with, because he was like, that's basically like what most people would probably do in that situation.
Exactly,
like,
that's a good point.
And you're just like,
is it the rapist who gets stabbed in the dick?
No, it is the guy. It is the guy that hid in the bushes, and he's like, "This is the only thing I can do to survive." And then he gets hit in the head, and then before he dies, he's like, "Am I okay? I'm sorry." And then he fucking dies, and that's like, yeah, that's probably most people in that situation. And
right?
There's a bunch of radical, but the one I'm talking about is a very small part, and he gets gunned down by I can't remember the name of the character, the one of the transfer students with the shotgun.
Oh, the shotgun guy, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his character's name at this moment, but he comes out of the trees with a handgun, and he starts just like reciting a math formula,
Yes,
and he's like,
yes.
I'm gonna get into a good school. I'm just like, this
I'm gonna
is.
get into yeah.
I mean, it seems like this character had a lot more context, or a lot more depth in the original context, but they just kind of had to condense him down in like 4 lines of dialogue.
Yeah. It's like math. He's like doing the math about.
He's
the thing,
doing
and
like an equation. I'm just like, this is
it's horribly.
this. They tried to stay. I mean, it seems like they tried to stay as true to the source material as possible, but this is that Marvel character you see that has like 400 fans that gets into a movie, and then they have like 2 lines of dialogue and they die, and then they're like, hey, we gave him a nod, and then the fans are really upset because there's like so much more behind that character, and they just like threw him out into the winds with like 2 minutes of footage and be like, all right, we gave him their nod, it's fine.
Exactly. That's such a great moment too, because you know, and there's plenty to say about this movie about human nature and like people becoming primal and what they do in, you know, pushed under duress and in those kind of, and also that some people's like innate need for competition in a weird way, and some people relish it. They talk about one of the Transformers students chose to be in there, you know, like it's like who would choose to be here, you know. But that moment when the shotgun guy, I can't remember his name exactly, but he
well, 2 of them chose, right?
Is it 2 of them?
Yeah,
Can't remember.
2 of them
Yeah,
chose.
okay. So it is
both of the Sting looking guy and the transfer student. One of them, they have very different reasons. One of them was just like a Yakuza son, wants to kill people, crazy man kid, and the other guy wanted to get revenge basically, and just like kind of beat the system to.
So is revenge on what's his name? What's his name now? Takeshi's character, right? Yeah, so he's actually kind of, he wants to do that, which I won't. Kitano, sorry.
Yeah, Kitano.
So yeah, it's interesting. I won't spoil kind of how that all resolves or anything, but yeah. So that part though where he turns around after math handgun guy and goes, "I'll take the handgun," and then looks at them and goes, "What weapon did you get?" It's like, I got the pot lid and binoculars, and he then proceeds to call them pot lid and binoculars.
Pot lid and binoculars,
which is amazing.
I think, and it goes to show you like that, and that in itself is like such good writing, because you don't at that point understand exactly what that character is about and what he's going for. So from your perspective as a viewer, you're like, this guy is so in it. Maybe he's just in it for the challenge or the thrill, but he's like so invested in this where he doesn't even refer to them as these people as their names. He's just like pot lid binoculars, you know? Like it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's great. That's good. Good writing. Chef's kiss.
And then also the part, so the interesting point there, he doesn't see them as a perceived threat, and actually kind of proceeds to go, they could be more useful alive, you know, that kind of thing too. And they kind of team up, they buddy up as it were, you know, which is actually kind of interesting. So again, I don't want to spoil how it happens, like what kind of wraps up in the end. Of course, like you go through, it gets down that there's a really awesome natural tension when it kind of you start to make kind of relationships with characters, or you start to like root for them in a sporting kind of way. Hence why this formula, even beyond this movie and the video game style thing, is actually quite effective in like why it's enthralling, you know, why it's enthralling to play, why it's enthralling to watch, why it makes a great esports kind of format, you know, that kind of thing. Because you get down to it and there's been a bit of time elapsed, and you've kind of developed a bit of a kind of affinity for some of them. You actually really want them to do well, and then some of them, like, of course, through sometimes, you know, tragic, sometimes almost hilarious kind of means, or like just the one in the kitchen in the lighthouse, absolute clusterfuck. Like Kate was laughing. She's like, "This is the best part." Like she's like, "That was so unnecessary."
Yeah,
it goes to show human nature and blame and everything, and how that kind of just transpires, which was just, it was so ridiculous. And I think there's a lot of that in this movie I think, there's tragic aspects and violence that, you know, relates to real world stuff, but there's parts of it that are just so bombastic at the same time. And that's what makes it
a great movie. Is
you have to have a lot of fun with it. Exactly.
It's fun. It's fun. It's
It's got ramifications for human nature. You think about what people do. I guess that's in a serious note, but then it is fun at the same time.
Exactly. It's a perfect balance. The reason why this movie is so great and why it's lasted the test of time is exactly that. It has a perfect balance of just violent fun, but at the same time not going so far with it like a Tarantino movie. I guess Tarantino movie kind of like highlights both of those at the same time, but just like magnifies it times 100.
Yeah, it just dwells in that violence for a bit longer. I think.
Yeah,
and that's what I was trying to say. Our appetite for violence has really grown over the last 20 years, and it's. I think now you're comparing like that. Was Kate was saying it's not that violent.
Yeah, it's not that.
There's a couple of moments like like you say, Chesh getting stabbed in the kind of groins looks even just that. It's just it's not even what they show. It's more the concept of it. Like
but at the time that was like whoa, like it was shocking. But now but it's aged very well in the terms where in the sense where it's not excessive and it doesn't feel like a giallo or like a body horror, like a it doesn't dwell on it long enough to.
It's not Human Centipede,
exactly. It's just kind of like it's there. It was shocking at the time. It's not shocking anymore, but it's there, and you're just like, wow, that was intense. And when it resolves, you're like, okay, on to the next plot point, and. That's what I love about this movie. It's that perfect little balance, and that's why it stood the test of time. And
totally.
in my opinion,
I was gonna say there's other great little pockets of characters. There's the one that gets the gets the GPS. Like it's just like that's actually a pretty handy device and can kind of just like see what everyone else is doing. The one the three guys that become the hackers basically, like, and they just go, we're gonna hack the system. Cool. It's great fun. I won't spoil what happens to them or anything like that, but a really cool side plot. And they mean to meet up with some of the other protagonists, that kind of thing.
But, I kind of want to pry a little bit. Chesh, let's talk about that groin stabbing scene.
All right, so one of the things going into this that I remember somehow incorrectly, I'm going to say, so this might be a Mandela effect moment. I remember that particular scene on the trigger warning rape, on the rapey side of things, to be a lot worse than it actually was in this movie on rewatching, which is weird because I'm fairly certain the last time that I watched this, I remember him trying to force himself on top of her, which didn't happen at all.
No,
and it may be different with the director's cut actually, because that's what we watch, right? Like we watched the extended special, and that's probably the type of thing that makes sense to kind of change the way that whole scene's executed.
Yeah, and I think that this scene is so much better the way it is from the one that we watched now, because it is basically her just going like, "I'll never sleep with you. You're a creep and a weirdo. What are you doing?" And him going like, "No, we're gonna die, so we should just have sex. Let's fuck." And she's like, "I don't want to have sex with you, and I will kill you if you come closer." And he's like, "Come here, bitch. I'm gonna fuck you." And she's just basically like, "All right, it's stabby time." And I'm like,
he shoots the crossbow and it hits her face. And
skims her cheek, but whatever.
And she goes berserk.
It's amazing.
And quite frankly, it's one of the best murder revenge scenes I think I've seen in a film in a very long time, because it's not like I'm doing this because this thing has happened to me. Mm-hmm. It's not I'm doing this thing because, this thing was about to happen to me and he was literally like pants down trying to put his dick in me. It was literally like, I said no. You didn't understand. I said no again to make it clear you didn't understand. You then fired a crossbow at me, and now I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, that is fucking brilliant.
And sorry, I gotta jump on this.
Go for it.
To add on that, not only is this a better version of most of the revenge, our revenge stories that we see. Just because of that, what Chesh highlighted, but because it shows the true nature of someone who would do something like that in that character.
I was gonna say it almost had to
He
be said, you know, as the
acted
type of character in that. Yeah.
exactly. He was a
It's got to be one
coward.
at least. That
He
does
was
that.
such a little bitch when he had a fucking crossbow and she came at she got angry and came at him. He had a fucking crossbow and he ran away from a knife at a distance like a fucking coward that he is, because that's someone who would do something like that is a fucking coward, right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to assert their own dominance over somebody else, and when they resist, just even
Using a tool.
just even a little fucking pushback, she was just all she did was had to sound a little scary and step towards him, and he broke like a fucking house of cards and ran away from. And I was just like, this is so fucking brilliant, right? Because this is the true nature. Because all we've been seeing in the past, like you said, Sam, all we've been seeing in the past is like how different people would react to the situation, and that is how this type of fucking coward would react to that situation. Fall down like a house of fucking cards, because they are cowards. Anybody who takes advantage of somebody like that, at deep down, is a weak and cowardly person, because they're trying to compensate for something that they lack and assert that over somebody else. Anyway, but that's why that scene is fucking brilliant, and I agree with you, Chesh. That is one of the best scenes in the movie, 100%. Also,
the big thing to point out here is the fact that, like, so she fought against the attacker after saying no. She's then said to the attacker, like, I would never sleep with you, and no one's ever going to sleep with you because you're a creepy little man. You know, which in that situation is absolutely the correct thing to say. Like, hey, you know, she's
got a crossbow to her face, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and she's visibly showing that she is scared, but she's masking it with the language and with how she's actually projecting herself in that scene as well. And that's the thing, you see that there is that, like, scared child, really, but that scared child, you know, is there, but she's masking it with this aggression and front-facing, like, no, I said no, and no is no. And I just think that is just probably the best scene out of the movie.
Yeah.
What do I think about the rest of the movie? Well, look, variety of different ways of deaths is fine. I found that the poisoning scene was a bit messy. The katana scene was fantastic.
It was a clusterfuck. Like,
it was a clusterfuck.
Yeah. The poisoning scene was just like, I was like, I've got no fucking idea who any of these people are now. The weird part about that particular scene with the girl who then commits suicide because she realizes that these are all her friends, and I'm like, aren't you the one that poisoned them? Am I getting this wrong? Did somebody else do that?
She wanted to poison the guy upstairs.
Then she couldn't, like, when the other girl grabbed it, she couldn't bring herself to go, don't eat it. Like, and that's the thing. It's totally right. She was like guilt, but
because she would out herself too, right? That's a really weird situation to be in when you're trying to poison someone else and someone grabs the cup.
There we go.
And then you're like, wait a minute.
Missing something. But, like, so for people who don't know, this movie has been, I'm not going to say copied because it's not a copy, but other versions of this genre have been made since, including one that has Stone Cold Steve Austin, which is funny because people will probably liken that a much more towards something like Escape from Tarkov, maybe? Is that the same genre? I can't remember. But definitely PUBG and a lot of those kind of Rust first-person survival shooters come from this because Battle Royale.
Absolutely.
But there's actually a movie, and I believe it actually has a sequel that I sort of semi-remember seeing that may have John Cena. But there is a Battle Royale style movie that Stone Cold Steve Austin was in back in the day.
Condemned, it looks like.
It is Condemned, absolutely.
Condemned. Vinnie Jones as well.
Yeah. And that was a really good movie as well. I do urge people to go and check that one out because it is also fun. but definitely watch this first. I think that I would give this a 6 slayings out of 10, because it is very good, but some of the cinematography is a bit lackluster. The editing is horrendous in a lot of places.
They did a lot of. I read they did a lot of the daytime shooting, but grade it for nighttime too, which
Yeah.
you can probably notice a lot of that. But there's plenty of things you're like, it's not the greatest. I mean, execution wise, but you kind of give it a pass, I guess, a little bit.
But
There's a couple
this was the first battle royale movie.
exactly,
This literally started a whole genre. And
which is
that's
now
what makes
responsible for
this
billions and billions of dollars. Like when you
exactly,
think about it.
And that's what makes this so good and why people should be checking
and for
it
a
out.
good reason too, because there's some lasting properties that exist for God knows why, but like at least this movie you can see the merit, right?
Yeah,
like you can see why this is an enduring idea.
There's a point I made before that I was reading about it and different like trains of thought about it, and they say someone attributed. There's people that attribute the success of battle royale concepts, and by proximity, this movie, of course, or by origin, to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is a term I'd heard a lot before, but never really understood completely what it was or whatever. And a very, very elementary view of like understanding it and reading into it now. But they talk about this triangle, and at the bottom is like psychological and safety, and then love and belonging, and then esteem, then self-actualization. So this idea that it kind of I've got to find the actual thing where it said it, but basically the first thing you kind of address is survival. You get people into that kind of state. I've got to find the actual thing why.
There you go. Condemned 2 is Randy Orton.
Interesting.
Yeah,
and I'm sure he RKOs somebody at some point in it as well.
I've seen a lot of memes of the hierarchy of needs, and
yeah,
for better or for
like
worse.
Not everyone believes it.
Yeah, people, like at the bottom of the pyramid is like cat girls and like self-actualization, like all the time. Like cat girls, and then above that is like food. And like,
totally.
It's like base need cat girls.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, go on.
I've just got to find the thing where, because it just talked about it really well, that like, yeah, it's actually a good point, and it begs, it makes you wonder why this concept has been so popular. And it is fun, like I say, it's enthralling to play. It puts you in a state that first of all, they talk about anyway that it's a good thing. It's like draft in Magic, why it's so effective, that everyone's kind of starting with the same kind of baseline, which is always like, yeah, skill kind of goes above, but like no one's kind of this, like they earned all this new stuff.
The draft pack is the weapon bag that they get.
Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, while I find that actually begs the thing. I had a great kind of fun, question with Kate last night. We were like, theory crafting. If you were on this island and you were given the bag, what would you like to see in the bag? Like what weapon you're talking. And I was joking. I was like, oh, do you just go proxy mines from GoldenEye or something? Like, it's something stealthy. And it got very funny. Like, what would you want in your bag?
Put them under the stairs. That's what
she's like. I don't want some. Yeah, exactly. Kate's like remote mines, clearly, but she's like, I don't want something as dumb as a gun because it's just so loud. It's you want something a bit more. I don't know. And there's great moments in the movie where they talk about they're all comparing weapons, of course, and it's like Matsuko with the sickle goes, oh, I thought mine wasn't very good, and it's like, no, it's actually quite good. And then also the joking about the taser, and then she ends up, I think, contributes to about 3 kills. I think I'm pretty sure. So I mean, it's pretty wild.
Also, the portly gentleman, the character,
the start,
the start got the probably the best weapon you could get in that situation.
That's what I thought. It's stealthy, it's projectile, and it's great, and yet he just fucking dies.
God bless him though. He did like the optimal strategy, spawn killing.
Exactly, and that's in the like the kind of human behavior that's really interesting. There's like, some people that will not blink an eyelid. They know the rules already, and they're like, all right, well, I guess I'm gonna get hunted, so I better hunt them. So
spawn camp.
They're literally leaving the doors and they're copping arrows, and it's like, wow, you're a piece of work. I love it. But yeah, that guy. There's always that guy.
That's a great strategy in that situation.
I actually did have a question about that crossbow.
Mm-hmm.
How is it a self-loading repeating crossbow?
I don't know.
Hey,
It can't be right.
hey! Every gun has infinite ammo except for that one
Yeah,
gun
yeah.
that girl had where it ran out of ammo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was going to be my second one. Is like, how does the Uzi have like 10 different clips?
The
Because-
Uzi never reloads. It has the
never runs out of ammo,
It
never
had-
reloads.
Why
It
has
has
that never
that-
changed in cinema? Seriously, like why does every handgun get like 30-round clips and like just stuff like that? Like even that Uzi was shooting about 60, I think. Like it was just.
Oh
a
Well,
shit.
it's
Okay. Oh, my bad. Hey, Brave. Yeah, I forgot to change
Oh.
the just chat. I changed the just chatting. This is a show we do every other Friday. We're not going to play Magic the Gathering, although we sometimes talk about it on this show. Every
I really want to.
Saturday, you get to see casual EDH Commander with guests. So if
Yeah.
you want to see cards of Magic being played on real tables, real cards, you can watch that Saturday. I apologize. I forgot to change the
Saturday.
Because
Saturday.
I also have a best
Yeah.
title for it too. I asked everyone to call the title for this one Battle Royale with Cheese. Cheese?
Battle Royale. Oh man, I didn't change the title too. This is oh man, yeah, I fucked up
This is
pretty
like the
hard on
lighthouse
this
thing.
one.
No,
Yeah,
that's okay.
I was
Jeff,
I was
it
so
happens.
focused on like actually getting the stream started because I had a whole bunch of login issues on my end. Normally, our producer Brandon hosts the show and he's able to handle everything from the back end.
And
But
he's a consummate professional. Yes.
I got caught up in so much like just trying to log in that I lost hindsight of the show title and the tag. I apologize for that. So hey, at least you're here for the convo. I mean, hey, we enjoy having you here. But
Exactly.
tune in Saturday if you want to see some magic. There's a takeaway. Yeah. Hey, anyway. Go
And
on,
if
Sam,
I'm not
sorry.
going out tomorrow, I wouldn't mind. I haven't jumped on with you guys.
Yeah,
to
you
stream
should.
today
Yeah,
because-
come on.
yeah,
Come
I
on,
just
come on,
want to play
Sam.
some
You know,
Commander.
honestly, I was thinking this a couple days ago. I'm like, now that we're doing this every other weekend because we got the D&D stream every Friday now. I'm like, yeah, I miss talking to you guys.
I can tell it's the best.
Yeah, I really do. Man, it's like
I mean, our Commander games are basically just chatting anyway. We play Commander, but we use them as a. I mean, that's all of our beliefs in Commander Magic anyway. Like Commander is just the excuse, right? Like it's just to hang out.
Yeah, it's tabletop. It's
Exactly.
freaking, it's casual Commander. We have fun and enjoy the game, and we make a lot of mistakes, but we're here for it, and we're having fun, and that's again
talk about
makes Magic Gathering so great.
It's a gathering. We talk about movies and we talk about Steely Dan and other things. Exactly. So, I've gone full joke. I went green. That was awesome.
You did go full Joker on that one.
I was like the drifter or the hitcher from Mighty Boosh. That one too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I better not go on any longer. I can't even find the Maslow's hierarchy of needs thing, but basically check it out. It's like it's really interesting that it's like that's a really great idea of what I mean. It's an interesting idea of why the games are so effective. Why Fortnite is just insane in popularity, and the fact that, like we say, this movie started with so much controversy about like violence and school kids, that kind of thing. Hunger Games did an interesting thing to go, well, oh yeah, it's all fine. It's like, no, probably not. Like you could almost argue they're kind of they're doing the same thing anyway. But Hunger Games is always like, oh, it's young adult fiction, it's fine anyway. But the fact they glorify it, whatever, seriously. Squid Game more recently was that why it kind of got back in my head to think about that, because it's similar concepts, until I saw a Polygon article this week that said, hey, you may think Squid Game is Battle Royale derivative, and that's fine, and there's a lot there, because there is. It's the same. The classical music comes into play, the kind of the game show effect,
Is it going to mention Kaiji, the anime Kaiji?
Oh, I don't know about Kaiji.
Okay.
But what they
probably not because white people.
Right. I was going to say what they say though. That's not. They go, oh no, don't think about that. It's not so much. They say it's less battle royale and it's more Mario Party. Is Squid Game, and I was like, that's actually pretty hilarious. So yeah, fair.
So let me just. Do you know, Chesh? Do you know? Kaiji?
That's fine because because Death Race is basically Mario Kart. Yes,
Yeah.
sort of, but not really.
Okay, so I haven't seen.
I
Squid
vaguely remember it from the back of my head from a very drunk party.
So I haven't seen Squid Game, but let me see if any. Have you guys seen Squid Game?
I
Yeah,
watched
I
bits and
have.
pieces of it. Yeah.
All right. So let me describe Kaiji, and I haven't seen Squid Game, but does this describe Squid Game? So Kaiji is about one character, um, who is in extreme gambling debt, and he gets offered to resolve his debt by participating in a set number of games with other people
Wait,
in extreme debt to
hang on. Wait.
Yeah.
I'm going to compare this. So, Squid Game is about a main central character who is in extreme debt because of gambling, and to resolve this debt, enters into a competition with other people who are also extremely heavily in debt in a game to the death or a series of games, and the last person standing will win the money.
Oh yeah, that's exactly Kaiji.
It's exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
is.
Kaiji, but except in this version, um, a lot of the games are deadly, and
This as well.
if you lose the game, you get sent to a labor camp, essentially where you will die.
If you lose the game,
Yeah.
they'll just kill you on the spot.
But people die in Kaiji. Like pretty much, you either die or you survive long enough to get sent to a labor camp to die. And
Well, with this, you don't survive long enough. You
Yeah.
either pass the game or they kill you on the spot.
and then as things escalate, then it becomes you win or you die. And
And
yeah,
as things escalate, it becomes you win or you die.
Yeah.
G3 just wrote extreme debt tick, compete in games tick,
Mhm.
people die tick.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. It's you yeah. It's. I mean, I'm sure it's a good show, but it's like, I've seen this show before.
Well, yeah,
It's an anime
that
originating
happens
from
a
a
lot.
manga that was like made
Totally.
10, 12 years ago.
Those things are just a lot of things are just borrowed from everything. You could argue that.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
that's
But
what
this is
Battle
like
Royale
a
did the
very
same thing.
direct.
Yeah,
well,
totally.
actually, Squid Game. I'm talking about 10 to 12 years ago. Squid Game also has been in development hell / production / no one wanted to pick it up for the last 10 to 12 years as
Ah.
well. It is absolutely of no surprise of mine if the creator of the other property actually had seen the Squid Game or whatever it was called at that point and done something derivative of that. So would not be surprised one way or the other.
The original, the first issue of Kaiji came out in February 1996.
So let's have a look at Squid Game for a sec.
Speaking of what we said before, Stranger Things was also a show that like kind of drifted around for 5 odd years before anyone picked it up, which is very interesting. Squid Game. I think and this one very much
it's only
like
been 10 to 12 years it's been rejected for.
They
So
did a really good job of making it so visually impactful too. Like it was like they've got these identifiable things, colors, whatever, and kind of character design and like costume design that becomes very easy to go. That's just Squid Game now.
But that does happen a lot where people have false comparisons of like, oh, this was original, but and they ripped off of this, but it actually wasn't. Just
totally.
Like
and that happens a lot.
Perfect example was Lion King and Kaiba the White Lion. Or is it Kaiba the White Lion? Is it anime?
Kaiba's from Yu-Gi-Oh.
No, Kaiba.
Kaiba crystals?
No,
from Star Wars?
Courage the Cowardly Lion? I don't know. What's the Cowardly Lion? The Kimba? No.
Kimba. Yeah. Kimba the White Lion. Yeah. So people are like, oh, Lion King just ripped off Kimba, this really old Japanese property. When you break it down, and Your Movie Sucks made a very lengthy, I think it's like a 3 hour video breaking down why that's not true at all. And Kimba is like incredibly different from, like, people just like took like a few stills that resembled the Lion King.
It's a lion.
and basically he's like, look, and they're very similar stills, like, to be fair. And they're like, Lion King ripped off of Kimba. It's exactly the same thing. And then when you really break down the show Kimba, it's like absolutely nothing like the Lion King. It tells a completely different story. All the characters are completely different. But it's like, it's a false equivalence. We're like, this is older, so therefore it was first because it's similar. And a lot of people do that when it's really the other way around, or it's just not true at all. And so I understand the skepticism there when it comes to like Squid Game and Kaiji. But it seems like, this sounds really familiar. And but yeah, now we just through dates and context prove that, you know, Kaiji had basically the same story, and Squid Game recontextualize it using the same beats.
So everything's derived from everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, when it comes down to it, like,
yeah. So it's like that mistake is really easy to make. I mean, I don't begrudge anyone that makes a mistake. Yeah, look into things a little bit, you know, because I didn't even look into that when I made that claim either. So I could have been 100% wrong. So one of us was proven wrong, and that's just the way it goes.
Sometimes that's fine. It's also very fine to admit when you're like, oh, maybe I can readjust my perception of that, you know, and that's a very healthy thing to do.
People are very confident making claims.
Exactly, in the internet era.
In the internet era, which they cannot contextualize. I did it on a hunch, just to it goes to show you. And I usually look up things before I make claims, but I didn't. And look how confident I was. So be a little skeptical.
Exactly. Yeah. Totally. So Jeff, Chesh has kind of rounded out a good kind of summary of the movie, which is great. And I'm happy to to hear that the kind of the scene you were kind of looking for, like ready to kind of have go, oh shit, you know, got to see this again. Actually, I think in this edition of the movie kind of wrapped up in a much better way. But yeah, I mean, what was it like watching it again? And because I know
I've seen it plenty of times.
Yeah, holding this movie in high regard, and you know what was like watching again today, yesterday, whatever, and kind of how you feeling about it now.
It's good to watch it with a group of people who can recontextualize it with the source material, which I'm not familiar with. I would still give this a solid 8 cookies out of 10.
Oh, nice one.
There's actually okay. I just want to comment on this other thing, this other scene in the movie. A scene which I felt was distinctly Lynchian was, and I say that as in reference to David Lynch, the director.
Yes. I was like, yes,
just for the audience in case they didn't know, when Takeshi's character dies, he gets shot.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
yes.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. He gets shot and dies, basically, and then he gets up, makes a phone call to his wife, and eats a cookie, and then dies. And I'm like, this is really Lynchian. Like that's like something. It's absurd, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? It's like
not to mention shooting them with a water pistol. Like.
Lynchian originally is mainly defined as like dark Americana, but there's also a surrealism to it where what you're seeing makes sense visually, or makes sense contextually, and it makes sense as it makes sense as like conceptually, but visually is bizarre, right? Just like in Blue Velvet, where the Yellow Man, when you see him dead, he's just standing there. Like his character, he's been killed by Frank Booth in a very brutal way, and he's just standing there in the center of the room, dripping blood from his mouth and his ears, and he's just like just dead. And what you're seeing is like, okay, you understand he's dead contextually, but what you're seeing is like your brain is conflicting with your eyes, and that's exactly what I saw in that scene. Is like, oh my god, like you know this guy's dead, but what you're seeing is him just doing.
It's almost like a spirit representation of the character.
And that's why it's like it's really Lynchian, where like he would do that. A guy dies and then he gets up and does his thing, and then Finife, like he expires finally, and he was like,
it was an amazing moment. Totally.
Finife is not even a word. I just it's anyway. Yeah, you know what I meant.
La fine.
La fine, yeah. So
okay. So what? Yeah. What do you give the movie? As
I said eight cookies out of 10.
It was 8 cookies. No, bang on. But like I say, I just put this down to I admire that this is the origin of a lot of things, and again, responsible for billions of dollars and people's attention for we've definitely seen over the last 5 years, and been reworked into genres and that kind of thing. Again, it feels Dark Soulsy in that regard, that they more embrace. It seems like it's more something to embrace rather than go,
to Dark Souls.
Rather than you rip this off, it just becomes a genre, which in kind of genius, that kind of way. Yeah, it's not a perfect film. It was a lot of fun to watch. Like it was worth my time, and I'll watch it again for sure. For again, a lot of fun, and it kind of it's lighthearted kind of wildness. It's got some bigger questions, or like just bigger observations about human nature, which I think is always kind of interesting to think about. But I think when it boils down to it, I've got what's a thing that's not a cookie, that's an object in the thing. I guess
murder weapons.
Murder weapons. Yeah, murder weapons. That's fine. I guess I'd give it
exploding collars.
Yeah, there you go. I think I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10 exploding collars. Almost ready to go 8. If I could, I'd go 7.5. I think, because I think that sits around there. And I'm sorry to give a lot of things 7s and 6s and 8s, but like,
no, don't apologize.
Where we're sitting,
don't apologize for that.
Yeah, absolutely admire what it also went on to do, and it actually kind of was kind of genius. They figured out a formula.
The reason why they pushed it to the 8 category for me is because the scenes that are good are incredible. You know what I mean? Like the highlights are just like exactly the scene where the video, the VHS video introduction scene,
you're right.
The freaking even as ridiculous as the lighthouse scene, the scene, the hacking. I love the hacking scene too.
Hacking scene's amazing. Yeah. It's like classic movie hacking. Is like
the scene where the
punching out some
the
dogs,
girl stands up against the guy who was gonna take advantage of her. Like all these scenes are just like, when it's good, it's great. Like, and then and the rest of it, you sit through and it's entertaining. So that's why it's like 8 out of 10. I'd watch it again. That's where the 8 goes. If it gets past a 7 or into an 8, I'll watch it again gladly.
You know what? I can be convinced. I reckon we upgrade to 8 for total enjoyment, what it meant as well, and thinking about it, and then I was thinking too, the relationships between characters is actually a big old. You could do a big old flow chart in a really great way.
And it's so fun to watch with people who haven't seen it before. It's like,
totally.
And the intro scene is amazing with the music and all that, and it's just like it sets it up.
I actually love them. I love the music.
The music is great. It's just like, hey, would you rather? It's like you got movies to choose from. It's like, well, we could watch this like really funny comedy movie that everybody loves, or you're at a party and it's like, well, we could watch this movie. Everyone said it was good. It just came out recently. or we could watch Battle Royale. And I'm gonna pick Battle Royale every time. Like, let's just
Totally,
fucking sit
totally.
there and it's like, oh, no one's seen it. Oh yeah, let's watch Battle Royale.
Yeah, exactly. Blows my mind.
Anyway,
Beautiful.
all right, let's close up shop here. I think we've talked long enough. I'm not sure for how long. I think we've been live for
it's been
hour and 40. Holy shit, this is a
Yeah.
long episode.
Took us an hour to get on too.
Yeah,
so,
it took us a fucking hour to get on. I apologize.
Fine. No. You did good. You did good.
I really should get on my shit about that. But anyway, really love talking with you guys. I always do.
Likewise.
And I mean, I mean that sincerely. Like, I fucking love you guys. And again, this is Jeff from MTGLexicon. Apologies for the mistitle on the stream for what we're streaming. This is just chatting. But
It'd be Battle Royale with cheese, but yeah.
Battle Royale with cheese. I fucked up because I was too focused on getting the stream started. If you want to see Magic content, though, tune into this stream on Saturday around 6 or 7 Pacific time, and we will be playing Casual Physical Commander. Go check it out. We love you, and I'm gonna pass it off to Sam below me.
Yeah. Find me on the Twitters at Pastor Jam Sam or Chesh and myself on the Commander Crunch podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, or on the Twitter at CMDR_Crunch. And yeah, just have fun, play cards, just be good people, please. Like, just have fun. Chesh.
Hi, I'm Chesh. You can find me on Twitter under Chesh Plays, or Cheshire Plays, I should say, for all of my hot shit movie takes, which I guess I haven't been posting a lot of lately because I've been more complaining about how people want me to write for free. I will not write for free. You fucking idiots. Pay me if you want to offer me a job, because that's the meaning behind a fucking job. Other than that, if you want to follow me on TikTok.
We're on the talk. What?
Hang on. Who the fuck am I on TikTok? Nope, that's porn.
Oh no. You look at porn during the stream? What are you doing?
No, that's always my go-to. I am at Cheshire Plays Games. Chesh the movie guy.
Dirty.
So for my weird takes on movies and stuff, definitely follow me there. And of course, coming soon to a podcast near you, The Super Friends. So keep your eyes out for that. I believe that myself and Brando have been discussing doing blocks of 4 and releasing them monthly. And the first one we're looking at is starting off with the original Batman movie series. So starting with Tim Burton's Batman all the way through Joel Schumacher's Batman. And going through the first 4 of those movies with each with a different guest, and then compiling them into one monthly podcast. So that's super cool idea. No one's really doing that. That sounds cool.
Chesh, I've got an idea for short versions of that. So shorts in between. I don't know however you want to do your podcasting, whatever. But you could spend 5 or 10 minutes talking about a shitty Batman villain one at a time. I.e., like your Crazy Quilts or like Kite Man's.
No,
if
I was going to do that, I would just literally do a TikTok series on regrettable superheroes. But I think that has already been taken by Red Panda, by Panda Red.
Interesting.
So,
I did see someone made this week. This got sent around my agency, and it was great fun. It's Marvel character or typeface, as in font. It was hard. It was fucking hard because I was like, "That's a typeface," and like, "No, this is something." It's like, "Oh wow, okay, fine." Like, yeah, very. So I'll send the link. It's very fun.
I could already. I'm creating names in my head that could be typefaces that probably are Marvel characters.
Really, like a quicksand.
You mean like arcade?
Kind of, yeah, totally. Like, I need to find this thing straight away because you'll have so much fun. And I got 12 out of 10. I sucked.
Like Branch Maid. Is that? yeah. It's like, yeah. Like,
so obscure that even I haven't heard of it.
Is that a typeface or
or I just made Morlock?
I just
Post
made
it
that
in the
up.
chat.
Yeah.
Just post it in chat. So here's one. It's like, all right, I'll just do one. Gambit. That's an easy one. That's fine.
Gambit,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
Like
super
a-
easy.
That's
Don't worry.
Universe. So Univers. Marvel or font?
Universe.
UVEIRS.
No, it's a universe without an e on the end. That's basically what it is.
That's gonna be a font, right?
You go. You got it. Nice one.
Okay, yeah, I had no idea.
Because Marvel's not that extreme and dumb. To
They
leave off
wouldn't
an
like
E.
go. They wouldn't put Z's on the end of people's names and stuff like that. Perpetua. So
Mhm.
PERP.
That's a Marvel character.
I'm gonna call that as a Marvel character for sure.
It's a font. I believe it's a font. It's a font.
What?
Yeah. Drax. DRAX.
Oh, you can't even do Drax. Come on, Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I know. It's like that's new. So exactly. Mortis. MORTISE.
Mortis is a font.
I'm gonna call a Marvel character.
It's a font. It's a slab Sarah.
Damn it.
No. Aclonica. ACLONICA.
Aclonica is a font.
That's got to be a font.
You got it. Nice. Copperplate.
Copperplate is a font.
That's definitely a font, right?
It is. I was gonna say. I reckon. I would love if they bait and switch that one, and it's actually one. It's a Marvel character, but they didn't specify.
Well,
like Gothic or
it's
something.
funny. It's funny you should say that. There is, I believe, a Marvel character called Copperhead, who is a gangster with the snake of a head.
That's right.
But like looks more like a humanoid snake head. Called Copperhead.
How do you conduct business as a humanoid snakehead? As exactly.
Just being a cool underground guy.
Look, man,
going to the board meetings as a cool.
You're smelling everything with your tongue. I mean, sex is gonna be weird. Drinking a coffee ain't gonna work.
Imagine the
you're like,
meetings,
oh, dude, yeah. I never mind. I'm not gonna go into that. But
and look, everyone thinks you're angry because you're constantly fucking hissing at them.
And you won't stop staring.
Oh, this is one of my favorite ones. Cull Obsidian. CULLOBSIDIAN. So 2 words. Marvel or font?
I'm gonna call Marvel.
I want to say it's a font.
I thought it was a font too. It's actually a Marvel.
Wow.
AKA Black Dwarf is a brutish alien villain. Cool.
Okay.
Revenge. REVANCHE.
Revenge? Revenge is a Marvel character.
It's got to be a font, right?
I don't know. Let's go Marvel.
It's
It's a Marvel character. Yeah. AKA Quanon. Proxima Midnight.
Proxima
Marvel
Midnight's
character.
a font. That's a font.
No.
I want it.
So Proxima Nova is actually a font I use. But Proxima Midnight is the name. Is one of the children of Thanos. Wow.
Damn it! I because some of the fonts have midnight, I think, or night or something. You know.
Oh, Proxima is definitely a part of the font name. I know.
God damn.
DOOP.
DOOP is a font.
Dupe. Font, I guess.
Dupe is a dumb green blob. Specifically, he's a green floating reniform character of unknown origins who speaks in a language all his own. Well, okay then. Where's the?
Stanley, I'm so happy.
I was thinking it was like a Wingdings knockoff or something. You know?
Yeah, like a dupe.
Yeah.
Or like that cologne that people wear, the dupe or whatever.
What?
A JOOP exclamation mark. It's like
I've never seen or heard of that.
Maybe it's in Australia. And it's just it's very 2000s. It's alongside Chesh, your Links Africa. You use exactly. You become a 14-year-old young boy. You get dupe.
It's like Axe.
Look,
right?
like Axe body spray. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, I wore Links up until I was about 17. So
Links. You got the Links Connect. All right.
You guys got Links too. Get Links Africa and Links Voodoo. Oh,
I was a sexy goth boy.
I
smelled good.
Get your Links chocolate. That's
You're
the one
still a sexy goth boy.
Anyway,
I'm a fat old man.
No,
with a Batman
dude.
shirt.
Hey, you know what? I have to mention this. Goddamn respect to the hair over there. All right. I gotta mention it. Right? I have
hair
to.
up there.
Yeah, goddamn. Because you know how many people that are just trying to make it work, but it doesn't. You make it fucking work, man. and also you're not fucking balding, which is amazing.
Oh,
It's
I don't
like,
know what I'm doing, but
it's
maybe I'm
pretty
on
thin.
Wednesday.
oh no, come on, nah. You trust
Going
me,
great.
you have an incredible mop as well. Are you kidding me? Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
It
we're
thins in areas,
hey,
not thin,
hey,
but it just goes grey in areas. It's fun.
we're hair boys over here, all right? We're
Mm.
look at this. Like, hey, I got
Let's-
a nice little I got a nice little mop on my head too. My hair is thinner. My
Mm.
hair is about like one, maybe two atoms thick, but yeah, exactly. But you know, I got a lot of it, and it's not going away anytime soon because
Exactly. I
I
can't do what
got
Chesh does
those
because it bounces back into
good
place.
genes. Thanks, mom. Thanks, mom's mom.
Okay.
But exactly,
We're
we
back
got
to the 80s. Flock
yeah,
of seagulls.
yeah, hell yes,
Oh,
hell
fun.
yes. I love
It's
that.
the-
That's
love it.
actually a good
It's
look.
Pulp Fiction thing. Hey, you flock of seagulls. Exactly.
It's amazing.
Anyway, that's a
Yeah.
good note to end on, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
All right,
going off
hair boys unite. All right. I'm gonna end the stream right here. So goodbye, 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 goodbye.
Yeah,
bye,
friends.
bye, bye, bye.